Buddha's first noble truth. There is suffering. There is suffering. There is suffering.
They don't recognize that by sharing with others, they would increase their own fortune. And therefore they hoard and they overconsume more than they need, and then they deprive others in that way. So basically it has to do with the sort of scarcity attitude that people have. That itself is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of the world, basically thinking that you know, my life is the life that's important and the other ones don't matter, which is ignorant, because in fact my life is totally interconnected with the other ones. And therefore, however, based on that ignorance, though, I then fight to hoard things for myself and think that by depriving others I have succeeded in some way, whereas actually by depriving them I have deprived myself. So that's the real reason. Ignorance is the root, absolute root reason, and then on the more immediate level, the mistaken idea of scarcity. The idea that there isn't enough, that the world is wrongly made, that people just couldn't manage it, and therefore it's inevitable for me to have something that others can't have something. And that's a very bad error. But it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because then we hoard tremendously and we overconsume, and that way we destroy the livelihood of others.
And does the existence of suffering and poverty serve a function in terms of the spiritual development of the world?
No, I don't think so. I think the existence of suffering and poverty is a very unfortunate mistake, and it results to individuals in a way from their own lack of spiritual development. And people really need a basic sort of satisfactory life in order to really turn to spiritual development. The idea that poverty leads to spiritual development is really wrong, because what it leads to is desperation to get to eat, or desperation to feed your children. And once you have a modicum of economic you know, sustenance, then you realize that economic sustenance is not enough. You know, man does not live by bread alone. And once you realize that, then you look for spiritual development. So there's a false link people make that, oh yes, poverty is inevitable, it wakes people up and all that. I think is not correct. The point is, poverty is unnecessary, and it's obsolete, actually. Industrialization has made it worse, actually, far worse, and we're in one of the worst eras of poverty and famine and potential devastating famine, in fact, that has ever happened, because industrialization magnifies that ignorance and that sense of scarcity and that stinginess that I've mentioned. It magnifies it rather than ameliorates it. There's a big pretense that, oh yeah, it'll take care of everybody, we're going to produce so much food, we're going to do gene manipulation, we're going to do this and that, everybody will be great. But if you actually look at the record of the last century and a half, it's been immeasurably worsened, the condition of billions of beings on the planet, by industrialization.